Hey guys, Cam315, joined with my co-host, the Red Wolf, and we are back with the very first episode review of the One Piece live action series.
Honestly, I'm surprised at myself that I'm actually involved in this. I'm surprised
Uh,
at myself. I'll be
yeah,
honest.
typically my co-host doesn't join me on my One Piece content. Like a few weeks ago, we did do an episode review of the first Gear 5 moment when was the real first Gear 5 transformation moment. Um, But other than that, he's really not on my One Piece videos.
And
Um,
and keep in mind, I was keeping my expectations low for the entire live action things.
yes. The One Piece now, when this was announced, I was like, all right, I guess this could work, but I don't know how they're gonna do this.
I was
And
I was I was skeptical all the way.
I think we were all skeptical of this live action decision because listen, let's be honest. There's so many live action shows or movies that you just you're like, what? You know, we know Disney, they just love making live action shit for all their animated properties, from the freaking princess movies to the goddamn Lion King. And I ripped that movie to shreds. I have a review on the channel if you want to get my thoughts on the live action Lion King. But they do live action crap of everything because Disney's cheap like that. They got to make a quick buck. Um, but typically, we've had some video game live action remakes. Sonic the Hedgehog obviously comes to mind. Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, which is kind of anime slash video game type of movie, or live action property right then and there.
I have yet to get that on DVD, by the way.
Oh my goodness. And obviously the only other thing that's live action is obviously animes, and oh boy, let's just say the
Gee.
list isn't exactly the best. I think we can all start off with Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oof, that's not a movie. That's an accident.
That movie was so bad it got Toriyama to actually come back and make Dragon Ball. That's how bad that movie was.
Now, getting to the topic of Cowboy Bebop. Well, at first, I believed it was doable, but it was doable, let's be honest. But they, you know how it turned out.
I don't watch Cowboy Bebop. I just hear it's a bad live action anime and adaptation,
Hmm.
if not one of the worst.
It's bad. It's just bad.
But going to this, I was just like, huh? I don't know. But then the more we get promotional material, the more we get trailers. And I was just like, yo, this actually looks pretty good.
Hmm.
Obviously, it helps when you have Ichiro Oda involved in the product. And I say this with all the live action series. You know, I didn't ever made a video about the Sonic the Hedgehog shit when the first design came out. But I always say this when I review any live action property of any video game or anime. If you are respectful to the source material, you will actually probably have a very good live action adaptation of a movie or an anime in terms of a video game. You just have to be respectful to the source material. Shit, even get the main people who created said characters involved in the product. Obviously, Oda was involved with this. I completely respect that. And hey, he's great. He kills it in the manga. Listen, this is the thing. Now, the more this came out, I'm like, all right, intrigued. Last few days, I've been watching. I watched all the episodes, so I know how it is. And when I tell you, I want to see more of this. Not just the 8 episodes we got. I need a season 2 right now. Right now on Netflix, it's number one. It's number one trending on Netflix. It's the best show on Netflix right now.
That's
It's
that.
getting a season 2. It's getting a season 2. I don't care. It's getting to season 2. Plain and simple. One Piece live action is getting to season 2. It's getting this love. Social media loves this show. Loves it. Saying it broke the curse.
It broke the curse.
So, if people are speaking positively of it, they're gonna produce a season 2. Now, obviously, with what's going on with the strikes of the actors and writers strike, that could prevent a season 2 happening sooner until these damn companies just get out of their asses and just pay the people fair. But hey, whatever. We're just selfish, greedy people. We don't care. Whatever. Anyways, episode 1 of the live action show One Piece. Very solid episode and a very great start that I very much enjoyed. Now the crazy thing is we'll talk more as we go into each episode. Yes, they had the episodes have the same premise of the starting point of the series, but there are differences.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
And honestly, I like the differences. And in some cases, like when we get into other arcs, dare I say, I like it more than how the manga and the anime handled it.
What do you guys have to say about that? I've been wondering what other people will have to say to that comment.
Now you have to wonder. I'm just speculating. What if the way they handled how the live action version is maybe like some rough draft versions Oda came up when One Piece was in production for the manga, where these like other ideas where he could have taken the story throughout the East Blue Sea saga that maybe he didn't do in the manga, maybe just to save time or put things out there.
Those are actually good theories. Those are actually good.
So these could be like ideas Oda came up with, but like, nah, I'm probably gonna go in a different direction. So hey, it's fine as is, So the first episode is literally titled Romance Dawn. Which, hey, that's kind of the first arc of the entire series of One Piece. So we kind of start off with the narrator saying, "Oh, this is the world of the One Piece, or the world of One Piece." You get a map, scene. You see some, I guess Easter eggs. You see the one, Sea King on the map, and the like, the not well, the one Sea King. You also see Moo Moo, on the map too. He's in one of the little right hand corners. You see like the different blue islands, like the East Blue, the South Blue. You see the Grand Line. You see the islands within the Grand Line. They don't say which islands it is. But that's kind of the thing right then and there. So then we cut obviously to the past, because if you watch One Piece, and hey, listen, spoilers. If you haven't watched One Piece, I'm so sorry. If this is your first time watching One Piece, I apologize. We're One Piece fans. We know the story. So if you spoil it, your loss. So yes. Anyways, as I was saying, obviously with the One Piece story, what do we always start off with when it comes to One Piece?
The execution of Goldie Roger.
Yes. Which was actually really good. Now, what was the one difference in this execution that was not in the anime or the manga?
I guess Garp. Garp was not there.
Yeah, he was there. Now, again, spoilers for One Piece. If you know though the history of Gold Roger and Garp, they have a special connection with one another. Pretty much. Obviously, Roger asked Garp to take in his biological son in Ace, to look after him, pretty much. What?
Did we say that yet?
Huh?
Did we say that yet for the live action?
No, we didn't see that.
I mean, should we say that?
Yeah, who cares? You're only gonna watch if I already gave people spoiler warnings for the series of One Piece.
Good point. Good point.
All right, if you get spoiled, hey, not my fault. That's kind of the thing there. So I'm just gonna let it all out now. So let it be known. I'm also doing this review catered to mostly One Piece fans. If you're a first time One Piece fan, well, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but hey, that's fine. But sorry that I'm spoiling the story for you. But that's the thing. You know that Roger and Garp, they fought on God Valley against the Rocks crew, which consisted of Big Mom, Kaido, Whitebeard, you know, bunch of other things. You know the Two Tails, so it makes sense that he would be there. And plus, we know Roger was sick, and he turned himself in to Garp, and that's the whole phrase of Garp pretty much getting or Roger getting captured by Garp. So I was actually like shocked that Garp was there, to be honest. But I'm like, hey, it makes sense. It makes sense. Now I'm pulling up the actor. The actor who plays Garp is called Vincent Reagan. I think throughout all the 8 episodes, he does a phenomenal job. I do like his. It sounds like a British or Scottish accent.
He does kind of like have a bit of an accent there, yeah.
Which I actually love. I love throughout the cast and crew. There are a bunch of like different races, you know, different accents people have. And I think in a world of One Piece, it would make sense that there would be people of different cultures. And that was kind of like the inspiration, you know, especially with the Straw Hat Crew, having people of different cultures into one crew. So that it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I don't have Roger on here, but it is. Do I have Roger? Huh. I'm trying to look through the list I have. Um, no, can't find it. Trying to find it. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Anyways, he's obviously you get the scene. Throughout the scene, you actually see cameos. You see younger Shanks. You see Dragon there. You don't see his face. You just see the green hood. And then as I look at my notes, you also see a young Mihawk. Young Mihawk.
Yes, or normal Mihawk, whatever.
I guess so, if you want to put it like that.
I don't know if he has much of a like design change from when he was younger, but yeah.
Still younger. You obviously have your crowd saying, Pirate King, where'd you hide your treasure? And obviously you have Roger like he's like, you want to find my treasure? Well, it's in the far reaches of this world. I hid it somewhere and you just have to find it. Go out, sell the seas and shit like that, you know. I did like the little comedic scene Roger had before he was executed, and it was like when he was hooked in and Garp was talking like, you have any last words to say, Roger? And Roger's like, could you to get these cuffs off? You know, my freaking wrist kind of hurt a bit. They're a little stiff. So you get the little comedy right then and there. But after this happens, you just see the people. You see freaking Roger end up getting stabbed. Which now, when I was watching somebody else's review, I think he made the point, which is Tekken 101, who's a great One Piece content creator. He made the mention like, this is the first time we actually see Roger actually get like stabbed to death in this execution scene, like in the entirety of the One Piece series. So that happens. People just run away and everything in craziness because they're like, we got to find Roger's treasure. We got to find the One Piece, pretty much. And that leads into the present, and we see Luffy on his little dinghy, and
Yep.
he is talking to a seagull.
Yeah. Shouting out, I'm gonna become king of the pirates. Pretty basic stuff.
Yeah. Now Luffy is played by Inoke Godoy. Watching through the 8 episodes, this kid, this guy, I don't know how old he is, but this young dude, he honestly is the embodiment of Luffy. Literally.
He has a bit of an accent, I have to say.
His accent did take a while to get adjusted to, but the more you watch, the more you get adjusted to, and you're like, okay, I actually appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You can clearly tell he loves the character of Luffy. Like this guy, like I saw in an interview on Netflix, he actually went to Japan to go meet Oda actually in person.
Mm.
And Oda was on the video, but they obviously hit his face and everything. But you can tell this guy, he was entrenched with the role of Luffy, and you could tell this dude did his research. He read the manga, watched the anime, saw how Luffy acts as a character, and he was just great as Luffy. I don't know what your thoughts on him is. I thought he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I grew to really like him. And yeah, the accent is just it's just the icing on the cake. It's like, oh my God.
Yes. Um, yeah, he talks about having 10 crews. You have this news crew, which they're like they're the burr. It's how people on the seas get the newspaper. They just fly around, drop by, and the news crew is like, all right, you're gonna buy the damn newspaper or what? What are you doing here? And then he just flies off. This then leads to Luffy's ship sinking. He goes he sinks into the barrel, and that's when he flies off. Scene transitions to what?
To Alvida ship.
Yes, Alvida. And what do we see happening here? As I
Yeah,
find Alvida. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
yeah. She's apparently interrogating people and then kills one of them. And then who do we see who she sends in?
Our boy Kobe.
Yes.
Now Alvida is portrayed by, now I don't know if I'm butchering her name. Ilya Isorelius Paulino.
He does look familiar. Like I've seen her in another movie.
Okay.
But
Um yeah, she's pretty much looking for Zoro, and Zoro was apparently on this ship um that they took over, and obviously she wants to be, let's just say Alvida's kind of like so I guess selfish about herself, and she's thinking since Zoro's a famous bounty hunter, he's gonna come after me. Um, but no, and because the guy said, I don't know anything about Zoro, or no, he said like, oh, Zoro wasn't even on your list or something like that, and she got pissed about it, and she smashes him down to size.
mhm.
Yes, the gore is real in this show. The gore is real. They don't hold back actually, which I actually appreciate.
Yeah. And Netflix they don't hold back as much as most other like stuff and like in Crunchyroll they hold back quite a bit.
Oh, you know, times have changed.
Hmm.
Um, Kobe, he's portrayed, or his actor is Morgan Davies. I did like Kobe's performance in this show. Really good actually, really freaking good. I thought the actor that played him did good. Alvida's actress did a great job too. And everything. I'm like, okay, that's just absolutely hilarious. You get your whole Alvida thing where she's like, "Who's the most beautifulest pirate in all of the sea?"
Hmm.
So that's kind of the thing. Now it cuts tonight. You have it to where obviously you get the scene between Kobe and Luffy where they meet in underneath the ship. And surprisingly, actually the one thing that I was quite shocked how they handled Luffy in is he's a lot smarter in the live. I'm not trying to say he's dumb in the anime and manga version, but let's just say he's more socially aware in the live action version. He picks up on things a lot faster than he does in the anime form of him, which actually pleasantly surprised me. I don't
Hmm.
know if you felt like that yourself or something.
I guess so. I mean, I haven't seen the first episode in so long. I didn't remember how he handled the situation there completely. I know he obviously beat Alvida's butt, but
But when freaking him and Kobe first met, and Kobe started screaming, he's like, "Shut up!" and quiet and everything. So, um, pretty much they go into a whole discussion. Kobe's wondering if Luffy's gonna kill him, and Luffy's like, "No, I'm not gonna kill you, dude." Um, and obviously Alvida, or not Alvida, Kobe goes in to say like, "Oh, all pirates are bad," and Luffy's like, "I'm not a bad pirate. I'm a good pirate." And that transitions to the flashback with Luffy and Shanks, the infamous backstory as you get the process. What was pretty much the first backstory part, or what was the first part of the backstory talking about? Well, after Shanks comes back from his voyage.
Basically, Luffy wanting to join Shanks's crew.
And how does he try to prove it to Shanks?
He he makes this. He cuts a scar under his eye.
Yeah, and he literally sticks it in there. He's like, "You want to show me how I'll prove it to you, Shanks?" Ah! Now, listen, you won't catch me stabbing myself almost in the damn eye,
Just to
either.
become a pirate.
Yes, which I think the live action version, I think he said, I think the kid said like, I was actually trying to stab my own eye too, or something like that. I'm like, trying to be a one-eyed man or a one-eyed boy. Um, so yes, Shanks is his actor is Peter Godoy. I thought he did pretty good in this too with the scenes we got. Honestly, embodied what Shanks is right then and there. So that was kind of the thing right then and there. And obviously with this whole thing, Luffy wants to join Shanks' crew, but Luffy or Shanks is pretty much telling Luffy, like, kid, you're too young and you're not ready yet. And he kind of messes with him a bit too to prove that he's like, you're too young to be a pirate. Um, so that's kind of the thing right then and there. So we get we get later into the flashback, so we cut back to the present. They're just walking around. Luffy makes a noise like he's like, oh, something. He has something in his hand. He hits a bell and it wakes all of Alvida's pirates up. And they're like, what the hell is going on here? Um, and then that ends up starting the fight between Alvida and Luffy because Luffy starts saying like, because what is it? Alvida pretty much tells Kobe like, Kobe, you know who I am, right? You know who the most beautiful pirate of the sea is. And obviously Kobe's like kind of indecisive. And Luffy's like, why do you have to listen to her? Like, Kobe actually said, you're ugly. You're stupid. I love how the actress of Alvida's like, no. And then she loses her shit. And then starts she starts attacking Luffy. The facial reactions are honestly funny.
Mhm.
To be honest. So that was something right then and there within itself. So that leads into the fight. Um, all right, what are your thoughts on the fights?
Pretty accurate. Pretty accurate, I must say. But Luffy be all bendy and he stretches out his arm for a gun pistol. Like that's a really interesting shot of
Yeah.
gun pistol.
Yeah. What do you think? I guess what are your thoughts on the stretchy elements? I think it actually looks pretty good.
It looks good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It looks better than I thought it was gonna look.
Yeah. So Luffy beats Alvida and pretty much he's like goes to the other Alvida members. He's like, anybody else have a problem with Kobe? And they're like, no, 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 no. Sorry, bye, bye. See you later. So they end up traveling to Shell's town, and everything. So then that actually leads us into the scene, I believe was Zoro. Um,
Yes, I believe so.
so what
Yeah.
happens on now? First thing before I let my turn over to my co-host about Zoro, we see Zoro's on Six's Island. Now, for anybody with background information, Six's Island is actually a legit island in the One Piece world. It isn't a made-up island. Um, Now, if you know your One Piece history, if in the light novel of One Piece in Ace's story, that's where he found he found his flame fruit, the Mera no Mi. That's
Mhm.
where he found it in the light novel and everything. So there you go. Anyways, explain what happens on Six's Island with what Zoro's doing.
Well, right there, he's basically lighting candles, and this one guy, I forgot his name.
Mr. Seven.
Yeah, Mr. Seven. He started walking up to Zoro, and like Zoro noticing him saying, "You've been following me for days. What do you want?" And Mr. Seven was asking if he could recruit him into like the that one. I forgot.
Baroque works.
Yeah, Baroque works. And Zoro was like, can I get a tattoo? Like with this number on it.
And he flips him off. He flips him off.
Mhm.
Which was absolutely funny. So they don't hold it off. So that pisses him off, but continue.
Yes, yeah, and then they start clashing, which shows off Zoro really well.
Yeah, and before you continue, Zoro's actor is trying I'm gonna find it. Um it's what is it? It's portrayed by McKenyu, who I believe he was in another live action anime somewhere. I don't know what the other live action anime he was in.
I think he might have. I just don't remember which one. I can't remember if it was in the. Mm,
Rurouni Kenshin one?
I feel like I might have seen him in there, or the Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. I could be wrong. I could be wrong
Okay.
because he obviously wasn't acting as Kenshin, obviously, but I don't know. But
Yeah, and obviously I know in his last live action, whatever anime show he was in, he did do swordplay. So it made sense that they would make him be Zoro, which I actually like his interpretation of Zoro.
mhm.
Um
I can tell there's going to be Sims for him.
oh brother. Um go on. How does Zoro defeat Mr. Seven?
He it literally showed him getting sliced in half. It literally showed Zoro slicing him in half. I was like, okay, whoa. I flinched.
Yeah, it was I'm like it was definitely shocking that that actually happened. And I was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
okay, I'll take it. Cool." Now, the one also interesting thing about Zoro is, especially when you go through the course of the 8 episodes, he mostly does just uses the two swords. Now, obviously, the interesting fact was, okay, how is the three sword style going to work in live action form? Because
Hmm.
it's like you can see, obviously, anime wise, you can get away with that. Live action, you're just like, I don't know if this is gonna work. They make it work as best they can. I'll
They
leave
did.
it at that.
Yeah. Wow.
But even then, they mostly do two sworded style, and I think they'll only do the three sword style in the live action just for like look and visual appeal, um, and things like that, or coolness factor. So, regardless, I feel like they'd only do the three sword style in live action for like special moments, like obviously what we see in this episode with Captain Morgan. Um, so that happens. And in the meantime, Luffy and Kobe, they end up getting to Shell's Town. They're looking at all the different bounties. We see a bounty of Buggy the Clown. And I think also Alvita as well. Oh, I also forgot to mention when there's obviously a villain for the arc that shows up or a pirate, they have their bounty show up on the screen with their bounty number, right? But the one thing what I love is how they have the character interact with the bounty, and usually it's like they pull it to the side, or it's some unique way how they tear up the bounty or get the bounty out of the screen. Alvita, it's like she just used her club to move the bounty out the way. You have it like later in at the end, you have it where Buggy's just sitting there, his bounty's there, his bounty pops up on the screen, but he's like, get this shit away. So actually, honestly, I actually like that element. I don't know how you feel about that.
I like it. I like it.
So yes. Um, so that happens. They're looking to do the bounties. Now, the reason why they went to Shell's Town is Luffy wants to go to the Grand Line. What is he looking for?
He's looking for the map to the Grand Line.
Yes. And that ends up leading into or one, actually, I think Kobe ends up asking Luffy, like, how did you get your powers or whatever? Which leads into the scene how Luffy ended up eating the Gum Gum Devil Fruit, or the Gumu Gumino no Mi, if you want to go by the Japanese name. Which, hey, I honestly like that because when he says Gumu Gumino, sorry,
Bazooka!
um, that's next. That's next episode. That's next episode. Um,
Whatever.
um, what is so you get the backstory of like how Luffy eats it. He eats it in this crate. We know from if you're a One Piece fan, we know the Marines originally had it. Shanks stole it. Luffy he goes to eat it because he's frustrated that Shanks won't let him that he's obviously frustrated that Shanks won't let him in his crew, so he just eats it and everything. So that ends up happening. He eats it, but you have the mountain bandits show up. What did the mountain bandits basically do to Shanks?
They basically humiliated him and by made a mess by and Shanks just casually cleans it up.
Yes, which it was actually different with how they handle it in the manga and the anime. In the manga and the anime, the mountain bandit actually gets physical with Shanks. He like hits him and beats him up a bit. Here, Shank's like, here, take this bottle, and the dude's like, what the hell am I gonna do with one bottle of liquor? Which, hey, it makes sense. But hey, maybe you can pass it around. Everybody gets a sip. But he just breaks it, and he throws everything on the ground. He's like, and you just have it where Shanks gets the mop and starts cleaning it up and everything. So that ends up happening right then and there. Obviously, what makes Luffy so frustrated about this?
Like he basically the way he sees it, Shanks just let him let that guy take advantage of him.
Yes.
And he thinks he should have fought back.
And what does Shanks tell him?
Knowing when or when not to fight is part of being a man and stuff.
Yeah. Luffy ends up trying to walk off, but
Shanks grabs him by the hand, and that's when he finds out that Luffy's stretchy now.
Which is also different. In the anime version, he picked him up by I think the legs, and that's when he saw it all bouncy and everything. And obviously now in the anime, he's more expressive. He's like, "Oh, Luffy, what happened? What did you do?" And here in the live action, Shanks is like,
"What have you done?"
Yeah, a little bit more composed. We also see Makino too. So it comes back to the present. That's how we get the basic understanding of everything, which leads into the bar scene. It leads into the bar scene. We finally see Nami. Or actually, I forgot. Nami, she ended up showing up. If you remember how Nami ended up showing up, which is actually different too. She shows up a lot earlier than I thought she would show up. Now, if you don't understand, her showing up has different continuity versions. In the manga version, she doesn't show up till they get to Orange Town against Buggy. Now, in the anime version, she's in the very first episode. She just doesn't interact with Luffy or Zoro at all. If you watch the anime. Here, in the first episode of live action, she does interact with Luffy and Zoro. And they actually changed how she wants things. Also, too, I just remembered, too, another change is they put the Grand Line map with Captain Morgan, not with Buggy, like they did in the anime and the manga. Which was actually another change. I didn't even think about that. Huh. Interesting. But Nami, she ends up getting a bigger boat because she's like, "Oh, help me, please help me." And these pirates are like, "Oh yes, we'll help you." Nami is played by Emily Rudd. I'm just gonna say this: Emily Rudd is my favorite actress in this series, or my favorite actor coming out of this series so far. Now, if you don't know any background information about Emily Rudd, she is a massive, and I mean massive, anime fan. You go watch. There was one interview with the entire cast of One Piece that they did with Netflix, and when they talked about Emily Rudd, the interviewer asked Emily Rudd, like, "I hear you're a very big anime fan," and Emily Rudd's face just lights up. She brings up animes like Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and she's telling this to the crowd, to the cast mid interview. She's like, "Yeah, if you like Jujutsu Kaisen, you're gonna love Demon Slayer and all this shit." And I'm just like, "This girl, I respect her." Hey, listen, if she's watching this video, no disrespect. She's an anime nerd, and I love it.
I agree.
Again, when I have a girlfriend, I want my girlfriend to be an anime nerd just like me.
Ooh, good looking.
It's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
But Emily Rudd, she's great. She's an anime fan, but most importantly, she watches One Piece. And the number one thing is is a big Nami fan. And I remember in the build up to the show like happening, people were like, "We want Emily Rudd as Nami. She'd be so perfect." And lo and behold, she gets the dream opportunity of a lifetime to voice act probably her favorite character in the entire series of One Piece.
Voice
Nami.
act.
I mean, yeah, not our act or portray the character. My bad.
I mean, I guess it's both, but yeah.
Like that's so cool. That's actually pretty. That's genuinely freaking cool that she got the opportunity to be Nami, and you can tell like she's very passionate. All her Nami scenes, absolutely funny. And the more I watch and like, yep, that's how Nami acts. All right, the backwitty comments, like when she first meets Luffy and everything, and she can tell like this kid is so stupid.
Mhm.
You know, the whole scene where Luffy's like, this is my you want to be a part of my crew, and no, and Emily Rudd plays up like, no, I don't want to be a part of your crew. I hate pirates. You know, the scenes when Luffy, Nami, and Zoro are side by side and they're going up against Morgan, and Luffy's like, you won't be able to stop me and my crew. And they're both like, well, they're both like, but Nami's like, I'm not in your crew. Or we're not a crew. She does a great throughout the episode, she does a great job at portraying Nami and just having the essence of Nami. I remember when we first watched the first trailer, we did see the orange wig on her. I was a little thrown off, but then again, the more you watch, it doesn't really bother you as much, actually.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I still think they could have at least just do a hair dye.
Probably, yeah. I think they could have had her have a natural orange to her hair. I don't know if I think I saw a picture when she had orange hair at some point in her life, but and like now it's just blonde. But maybe they're like, no, it's better. You know, maybe she just didn't want to dye her hair orange. You know, because you can say, for example, like the Sanji actor, he's definitely wearing a wig. So yes. Anyways, we're running low on our Zoom timer. We'll be back with more of the One Piece live action.
Mm. Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, Nami. Yes, great, great. So they're all in the bar. Luffy, Kobe, Zoro walks up in the bar. He has Mr. Seven's torso because you see his freaking afro or his spiked up hair in the bag so he can take it to be obviously wouldn't get the bounty. But Nami's there. She's asking about the Grand Line map and everything, and she sees the Marines there too. So there was this one Marine that was hitting on her, but she's like, I want nothing to do with you. But then she goes to like this older looking dude, and she's like, you like rum? And
Didn't she say that the previous one like too tall?
oh yeah,
Did she say that?
I'm like, excuse me, what? Nami has a type? Shorter people?
She clearly does, or
Man, well, it's Nami we're talking about. She'll do anything to get what she wants.
Mhm.
Um so she goes up to this one guy, this one Marine, and she starts like, I guess you can say hitting on this guy or trying to play him for a fool.
Mhm.
And the guy's like, oh yeah, sure, you know. I'm like, is this gonna be the thing for live action Nami? She's gonna be a cat burglar and she's gonna be into the money, but is she also gonna be a seductress now?
I think he's been a seductress since day one. I mean, she first played out Sanji.
So well, let's be honest, Sanji hit on her first though.
Yeah, but Nami was slowly like adding fuel to the fire purposely.
Well, she knows she can take advantage of freaking Sanji.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways. Um that happens. Now you have it to where Helmeppo ends up showing up and having a problem with Zoro, which, well, that leads into a whole bar fight scene right then and there. And Zoro's not having any much of Helmeppo, which Helmeppo in this series, mostly this episode, We'll talk about the moment in a minute.
Honestly,
We'll talk about the moment in a minute.
uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. This shit was hilarious. Helmeppo is played by Aiden Scott. I think he portrays the sassiness, the cockiness, and the what is I guess the self personification that is Helmeppo.
He does look familiar. I don't remember. I might have seen him in one of the previous live actions.
Okay, interesting.
Hmm.
Anyways, that leads into a fight because I think Helmeppo was boasting like, "Who needs 3 swords and everything?" And I
You
can beat you with one.
well, do you remember what Zoro said to him before like
No, I don't. I forgot. What did he say?
I guess like some I forgot what he said word for it, but I think it was something along the lines of like a stupid marine with a with a ugly haircut or something like that.
Oh, I think he did say that.
Something along the lines.
That leads into the fight scene. Zoro just kicks Helmeppo's and the Marines' asses. But the funny thing is, as he's fighting Marines, Helmeppo is getting involved, and Zoro's just like, "Get the frick out of here, dude!" Just beating him up. And Luffy's like, "Oh, he's really cool."
Hmm.
Um, Nami, she takes her chance. She takes advantage of her chance where she just slams this guy on the table, slams the guy she was hitting on the table, and drags him off so she could take his marine outfit and sneak into the base to get the to get to the Grand Line map. So that ends up so after the fight is all settled and everything, we get a scene where Zoro ends up getting taken to Captain Morgan because he's trying to turn in Mr. Seven's bounty for money. And this is another change. How Zoro ended up getting captured and getting put in the yard is actually different than how it was in the manga. Insanely different. And what happens here is Captain Morgan is like, so you caught a Baroque Works member. We could use somebody of the talent of you in the Marines. And Zoro's like, yeah, no, that's not my code. Sorry. I follow my own code. I work on my own. Right.
Hmm.
And Morgan's is like, yeah, but you attacked Marines. So that means you need to serve 7 days. So you either serve the 7 days or you join up with us. Now, the one they're actually been hearing in other episode 1 reviews is they did, and I'll say this, they did tone down Morgan, Captain Morgan. He's not as dictator-like and bossy like he was in the anime and the manga. He's kind of more of a like, just do what I tell you to do and get out the way type of guy. He's definitely lenient to say the least. But I found it absolutely hilarious how when he got brought in, he was sharpening up his axe hand.
Hmm.
And then Helmeppo was like, this man punched me, daddy. And the dude hit him like, get the hell out of here. That was absolutely hilarious because we know Morgan for some crazy reason did not like him. Like he's not like his son. So, anyways, what happens is Zoro is like, all right, I'll go to the yard. I need to catch up on some sleep anyways. So that happens. It leads into a night. So he gets strung up. It leads into a night scene where Luffy and Kobe are talking. They're kind of talking about like how Marines act, and Luffy's like, well, maybe there's it's like with pirates. There's good pirates and there's bad pirates. So it would only make sense that they're bad Marines and good Marines. And trust and believe, if you even watch the One Piece storyline, you know about bad Marines.
Yes.
Jeez Louise. One will be seen when we get to Arlong Park arc stuff.
Hmm.
So yes, but that also goes to show you the dictatorship of the world government.
Hmm.
Anyways, so the next day happens. You have it where Nami's kind of sneaking around in the base and the Marine base, which, oh my god, when I saw the Marines walking into the base, that was the most funniest scene, one of the funniest scenes I've seen. They literally were walking like this. They were like,
I mean, I didn't think much of it at the time, but yeah, you're right. I was like, okay, maybe they're beginners when it comes to acting, but
I don't know, but I saw that. I was like, oh, I started laughing. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Now, next episode review with Buggy, I'm gonna be laughing my ass off just talking about some things. Now when we get into the Usopp content, that shit also has me laughing too. Anyways, moving, so that happens. Nami sneaks into the base. The same Marine dude that she saw in the bar is like, hey, I know you. You were at the bar yesterday. Okay, that was weird. Whatever. Anyways, Nami beats him up, and Luffy ends up sneaking into the base. Now, he actually ends up running into Zoro before he sneaks into the base. Zoro sees him opening the grate and everything, and Luffy's like, "Hey, you're that guy. You're the guy I saw in the bar. You're so cool, cool and everything." And Zoro's pretty much like, "I'm a pirate hunter. I kill pirates."
yeah,
And
no, before he was like, get lost. And then looked like, I am lost.
I was gonna say this: the witty comebacks all these characters do, absolutely hilarious.
Hmm.
Even if it's with one another, but also too, what I actually was actually also another difference. Luffy didn't ask Zoro to join his crew, not one bit in this scene. Because in the anime, he asked like, "I want you to join my crew." Because remember, in the anime, he went to the yard to get Zoro to join his crew. Here, he's just like, "Well, I'm looking for a Grand Line map. What? See you later then."
No, he actually did ask Zoro to like join him. He did ask him. He
Well, to
didn't.
help him and everything, but he never like indirectly asked him like, "Hey, join my crew."
Mm, you sure about that?
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that? Because I was thinking otherwise.
No, he literally didn't even ask one bit for Joy to join. See, that's why you don't need to watch. You need to watch the full episode itself, not the
I
cut up.
watched the full episode. I don't know about you.
No, he didn't. I just watched it. He didn't ask him about joining the crew.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, Luffy goes back to the grade. He's like, "Well, see you later." That's when he ends up running into Nami, and they kind of have a funny little scene where they're looking through the little peepholes with each other, and they're like, "Huh? What?" Nami tries to play it off like, "What the hell are you doing here? You shouldn't be here right now. Otherwise, you're gonna be arrested by the Marines." But Luffy's like, "Oh, arrested by the Marines? That means you'll be turning yourself in too." And she's like, "What?" He's like, "I saw you at the bar yesterday." So funny little comebacks between Nami and Luffy, and if you know their relation, it's always kind of a bicker back and forth between the two, but really it's only Nami getting on Luffy for certain things and everything. And obviously he's like, "Well, I'm here to look for my map." And Nami's like, "Your map? No, that's my map." And he's like, "Well, whatever. I don't care." Um, they walk off. He's like, "You should probably join my crew." And she's like, "I'm not joining your crew. I don't like pirates." Um, and everything. So they end up running into Morgan. Nami plays it off like, "Oh yeah, I'm just taking this guy in because he did something bad and everything." And Morgan's is like, "Are you serious right now?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, yeah, yes." And it's funny how they when he walked before he walks off, Luffy's like, "Yeah, she does a great at her job, yeah." And then he's like, "Oh, I mean, boo, she's terrible at her job." And then
Oh
Morgan looks
my
at Nami like, "What's going on?" She's like,
God.
she's like, she's like, "I'll get back to work, sir." And honestly, when Luffy said that, I'm like, Luffy would say that in the anime and the manga. He would say that in the anime.
He would definitely say that.
See, this is what I said. Sometimes Luffy is socially aware of a situation. Other times he's not.
Uh-huh.
He responds like the Luffy we know. But that was funny right then and there. So anyways, they end up going into his Morgan's room, right? Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Luffy also freed Zoro too. Now
Well, yeah.
this is when we get one of the most interesting scenes in the series so far.
Mm.
Now, earlier when Zoro was tied up, Helmeppo came up, had him, and he had the sword that Kuina gave him. The I forgot what it was. I forgot what that sword was called. Forgot what it was called. The one sword Kuina gave him, and he was boasting about having it. And Zoro's like, "You better drop that sword, or I'm gonna kill you." Pretty much. Fast forward, the man has the sword out, Helmeppo.
Mm.
Now as I'm watching this scene for the first time, he's all shirtless and everything. I'm like, what is this idiot doing? Shirtless, we're holding the sword around, and he's swinging around. He's like, whoo, 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 and then the camera pans to his mirror, and then he's like, ha. What do you see, Denzel?
Something that I never wanted to see in my entire life. This guy is literally butt naked. What makes them think I want to see that?
Yay! He had a small ass. No homo. Zoro walks in. He literally sees Zoro walk in. He grabs a marine plushie, sticks it in between you know what, just hiding it. Zoro just comes in, takes the sword back. Helmeppo's like, "Are you gonna kill me?"
And Zoro's like, I'm thinking of something even worse.
Which we find out he pretty much gave him a crappy haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now listen, if you looked at the episode, it did have like all these different things like violence, gore, blah blah blah, and it did say it had nudity.
Yeah.
So that was the only nude scene we got in One Piece.
So far.
Don't get any ideas right now, please.
It's not my idea, but I have a feeling that they have those. They're already coming up with those ideas.
I don't. I think if Oda's looking at this, overtaking this show, I don't think he's gonna have anything that would be extra extra. Unless we
Mm-hmm.
get farther, and I guess the next nude scene we get is hey, the Ennis Lobby fight with Caulifla and Nami. Now that I'll be down to see.
My.
And what after Alabasta we get the bath scene?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the guys are trying to be peeping toms on the ladies.
Yes.
Anyways, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
As I was saying, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Nami and Luffy, they're in the throne room. Not the throne room. What the hell am I thinking? I'm thinking about Eames' place. Marie-Joie. No, I'm not. They're in Captain Morgan's office, and pretty much they're trying to find the area, find where the map is. They end up finding the safe. Um, and Nami is trying to pick the lock code or whatever, and because she's a cat burglar, yada yada yada. You know that. You know. In the meantime, Morgan sees like Marines on the ground. He's like, "What the hell happened with you two?" And this one guy's like, "There's a Marine. There's a girl pretending to be a Marine," and and Morgan's like, "What the frick?" Um, so he ends up getting back to his room. They see the happy. Luffy literally pulls out the safe. You know, they're pulling it out. Even Nami helps. They fall out of the freaking uh the room, Morgan's room, like almost damn near 10 stories long.
Good
Oh
thing
damn!
good thing
Ooh.
Luffy's made of rubber.
Yeah, good thing Luffy's made of rubber. Now, how Nami has no broken ribs right now, I have no
Well,
clue.
she fell on top of Luffy, so
Like, I guess so. Maybe all his maybe the rubber can absorb the contact for her. But geez, Louise, yeah,
maybe.
they fall down. They get surrounded by Marines. That leads to a fight scene where you just have Nami and Luffy fighting the Marines and everything. You have it to where Zoro walks by, and he's like, and then he sees them fighting. He's like, should I?
Yeah, well, he felt like
Should
he
I
needs
not?
to pay him back, I guess.
Yes, he ended up going to help. That gets the whole scene where Morgan comes to the fight, and you have the fight where it's Luffy and Zoro versus Morgan's. Nami's really taking care of them other Marines and everything with her bow staff. Um, what is it? And at first, the fight isn't going so well for Luffy and Zoro. They're not as coordinated as obviously them later be in the series when they fight together. Um,
Hmm.
you know, it was a cool fight. It was a cool fight to say the least.
Hmm.
But Morgan's is just kicking their ass. I love the one scene when Luffy's using a gum pistol attack and Morgan's grabs it and it looks like, Luffy's like, heh, and then he's like, oh. And Morgan's just throws him to the side like nothing. And then eventually it leads to a team up where freaking Zoro and Luffy team up. Luffy's like, you go low, I go high. Um, and they just they work together and they just start kicking Morgan's ass with ease. Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
This is when Zoro pulls out the bandana and pulls out the third sword, putting it in his mouth.
Yes, and
The head smell.
I love Luffy's comment where he's like, "Oh, that's where it goes." Um, so you see that now again. Obviously, with the three sword style, it's not like the man is going to like hit freaking Morgan with the sword from his mouth. The thing is, he's still using his two sword style, but it's like when he's got Morgan's on the ground, he just like pretty much has it in his mouth, and he's like holds the sword that he's holding in his mouth to his neck, which what is it? That's right then and right like looks like he's about to like slit his throat. That's when Luffy comes in, knocks him out with a gum whip. You get a funny banter scene where Zoro's like
Gum
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 whip.
whip. What does Luffy say?
Yeah. Guys, call their move names out loud when they finish the job and stuff. Like, sort of like, no, they don't.
I'm sorry. I love the banter between Zoro and Luffy. Zoro's character, and I love how McKinney plays it off. He's kind of like that guy that's like soft spoken, but he doesn't give a shit, and he's like, just shut the fuck up, pretty much. But he plays it off so good. Which hey, that was pretty much Zoro's was saying, "You're an idiot." Anyways, they run off with the safe, or anyways, they're wondering like, okay, how are we gonna get the safe out of here? There's gonna be reinforcements coming. Zoro literally picks up the safe and he's like, all right, let's go. And again, like I said, this is insanely different because Luffy, Nami, and Zoro, they did not meet each other literally up until this point in time, right then and there. Like, absolutely great. It's shocking to say the least.
Yeah.
So they end up going on Nami's little riff-raff of boat. Luffy's like, wait, we're forgetting Kobe. We can't leave Kobe. And, obviously Nami and Zoro are like, we don't have time for that. But Helmeppo's like, oh, you thought you were leaving the Marines? You got these two pistols. And they're like, everybody just starts laughing. And Luffy's like, what's up with his hair? And so I was like, oh.
I might have gotten involved in that.
and then you just have Kobe come out of nowhere. And what does he do?
He knocks him out.
Yep, just punches him, and he's like, "That hurt, but yeah, damn, it felt good." Which, hey, I'm always here for Helmeppo slander before he ends up actually being a cool guy for once.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much you have it to where Luffy's like, hey, come on, let's go. But the thing is, Luffy Kobe's like, no, I gotta stay here. I want to be a Marine. And obviously, Luffy's like, well, okay, hey, do what you want to do. That's your dream and everything. Which you kind of see as the episodes go on. The one thing we see about Luffy's character in the live action is he really truly one, obviously he values his friends, but the one thing he truly values is people's dreams and not wanting somebody to get in the way of said dream. You'll see that in the later episodes, especially when you get to, say, Baratier. Just giving you a little hint, my friend, because I know you haven't got that far.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing right then and there. They end up leaving, and that's the end of not the end of the episode. Another interesting change we get here. We see Garp on his ship coming to Shellstown, or getting the report that the map to the Grand Line has been stolen from Shellstown, and pretty much Garp is like, all right, make way for Shellstown. And that's pretty much post-credit scene of the episode. You have it to where one of Buggy's men, I think it's Kabaji or whatever, I don't know, the guy who rides the unit, the guy, if you remember the anime, he was riding the one unicycle and he was fighting Zoro in the Orangetown arc. The long black slick black hair. He pretty much is telling Buggy, he's like, yeah, these pirates, well, whatever they are, they stole the map to the Grand Line. And Buggy's just sitting back on his throne, I guess you can say. And he's just like, oh boy. Well, I guess we're gonna have to find them. He does the evil laugh like he did in the trailer. He's like, and my friend was all weirded out over here when he first saw that Buggy. So yeah, and that's where the episode ends off. As we know, episode 2 is pretty much the Orangetown arc, which is massively different than how it's portrayed in the anime and manga. But in terms of the first episode, great content. When I watched the first episode, I was like, okay, I'm liking where this is going. Next episode, when we talk about it, that's what sold me on the show being great. But solid episode, love the performances, everything. Nothing else, and we'll do all the episode reviews from episode 1 to episode 8. Don't know if we're gonna get these out daily, but especially with our history of getting reviews up, but we'll try the best we can, the fastest way we can.
Yeah. So sorry, guys. So sorry.
Any other final thoughts?
Nope. Just I have some catching up to do.
Yep. So next time we'll be back talking episode 2, which is probably, I think, I don't know. Honestly, episode 2 might be my favorite episode of the entire show.
You don't say.
I think I don't know. I just like the way they treat Buggy in this. Anyways, we'll be back whenever that is. Who knows? But anyways, catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day, night, or when you check this video. Till then, guys, peace.
Peace.